Hi, this is James Melendez, James the Wine Guy, here to talk about sparkling wines outside of the Champagne region in France. And that's something that's not often thought about because sometimes collectively we think that Champagne is the only producer. It is not. And the other producers outside of Champagne often refer to their wines as a Cremant. So Cremant d'Alsace, Cremant de Bourgogne, Cremant de Jura. And these designations really hold apart and talk about that this is a sparkling wine and it's from this region. That doesn't mean that every region, sparkling wine region in France has that. You have some regions that don't utilize that. You have other regions that produce both still and sparkling wines. And it's a very unique feature. So while in Champagne you're going to have Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, Chardonnay, you're also allowed to utilize these three other grape varietals that are almost extinct. You have 0.2% of the entire planting devoted to the Arbonne, the Petit Muselier, and the Pinot Blanc. Now, in each of the regions that I mentioned, and I'll talk about that, I'll call them out. So, Cremant d'Alsace, Cremant de Bordeaux, Cremant de Bourgogne, Cremant de Die, Cremant de Jura, Cremant de Limoux, and Cremant de Loire. So, these regions can also segment what they want to do in terms of what is a sparkling wine. And it may not be the Champagne wines, but a region, says this one here, the Cremant de Limoux, made a conscious decision to allow, say for example, this wine is a Chardonnay, it's a Chenin Blanc, and a Mauzac. So the Mauzac might have been 100% at one point. Now the Chardonnay is introduced so that it gives much more of that recognition, that international recognition of a sparkling wine that is comparable to, but not exactly equivalent to, Champagne. So I think those are the qualifying points. Now, you have the Cremant de Luxembourg. So in the country of Luxembourg, you are also producing wines, and you call a region in this very small country Cremant de Luxembourg. And what's interesting too about all the regulation is that AOC wines in France all have a lot of, and they're meant to be quality standards. That is, they're not meant to be tying the producer's hand behind their back, such as these wines, the Cremant, have to be hand harvested. Yields have to be a certain amount per hectare, and there's a whole code of regulation. Now, you also have the Loire Valley. It's the largest producer outside of Champagne. Now, you have other wine regions that are not referred to as Cremant. They're the Anjou de Mousseau, Blanquette de Lemont, Blanquette Méthode Ancestrale, Bourgogne Mousseau, Clairette de Die, Saumur Mousseau, and Troyes Mousseau. And so you have four wine regions, which is really unique. Interestingly enough, you have four wine regions that produce sparkling wine and still wine, and that's an interesting mix. So they're called the Gaillac, the Saint-Péray, the Vouvray, and the Mont-Louis. Beautiful expressions, and so go from region to region. They often say on this bottle here, they put on the back of the bottle what this what the wine grapes are listed here. When you get to the sparkling category, things can vary, but vary, and I think in a very positive way. That is, flavor profiles that maybe you won't always get from a Champagne, or maybe something more exquisitely called out in a different region using different varietals. Now, I think it's a really great art form and something that's getting more recognition. I actually do think it's fun to have wines that are much more of the traditional style coming from the regions than maybe the internationalized style. That is, the trying to mirror what is happening in Champagne. Champagne should always be Champagne. It always will be, and nothing will set it apart for a lot of reasons. Now, you have other regions that are just coming through and calling out their signatures, and their signatures are going to be calling out what is traditional in those regions, such as this, the Cremant de Limoux. So beautiful wines. For more wine reviews, please go to jamesthewineguy.com. Please subscribe to my videos on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter for mail, Google+, Pinterest. Salud.